This is an old photo that must have been kicking around somewhere for a long time. And what I'm interested in is isolating the baby from the background. That's the first thing. And secondly, to put this background behind her, not in color, but in black and white. So let's start by selecting the baby. It's fairly simple, I think, in terms of just going to the quick selection tool and start to select the baby. And look, I've got about 14 pixels. That's maybe even a little bit smaller than that if you want to. And let's just start to select her. Let's select a little bit of the hair here as well. And carefully just select her here. Now, it's possible that there's not enough contrast here, but let's hope there is. There it goes. It's not enough contrast. So we're going to continue selecting her right here, right there, into the end of her shoes, and making sure that we get the back of the shoes as well, right here. Okay, and continue on. Now you can see that we've got a few problems here. So let's do this. Let's increase the size of the brush and hit the Alt key, which will now deselect a lot of this stuff, like so. You can see how it's deselecting. And here we go. So we're continuing to deselect the background here to here to here and all of this in here. Okay, so far, not bad. And let's go in here. We don't need this and we don't need that. And there we have it. So we have deselected, and let's select a little bit of this right here for now. Okay, now what we want to do is to get her hair to look like hair. So we're going to go to the Refine Edge Detection, right here, and bump the radius up just a little, not so much, maybe at around 1.4 or 1.5 or something like that. And let's just go around the hair right here, right there, right here, and there. Let's see what happens. Sure. So now we've selected her hair. It looks a little bit better than it did. And this little black area here is not a problem at the moment. But now we've selected what we wanted to select, and we just say OK. OK. And hit the Control J right there. And now we have the child by herself. Let's cut this off, and there we have it. So now what we want to do is just to clean this up a bit and get rid of all of these crinkles in her arms and face and so on and so forth. But to begin with, I want to use the eraser tool, and I want to get rid of this little black thing right here. I also want to make sure that this goes up to there for now. And let's get rid of that. That's the bottom of her shoe. And what's going to happen is when I finally finish this, I'm going to be cropping a lot of this stuff off right in here. So that's okay. All right, so now what we want to do here is to lock the transparent pixels right here. And now let's go fix all of these little creases and so forth. So let's go to the Spot Healing Brush tool, make sure it's in Content Aware, and make the size about 22 or 25, something like that, anywhere in that range. And let's start by making this larger right there, hitting the space bar to bring that down. And let's see what we can do about getting rid of these by using this tool. And you see what's happening here. Here we go. Okay. There, and there. And here. Now you see some of those little areas in her face, and all you have to do, rather than dragging across them, is just clicking on them, which makes it a little bit better. Okay. Now let's go back and up again, and let's take a look at this. Enlarging the photo so I can work on it, and you can see what's happening here. Right there, and down in here somewhere, and right there, right here. You can see how I'm doing that. It's sometimes just hitting on it, and sometimes it's just sliding over it like so. And here, because it's close here, and I'm just doing that. All right, and let's do this while we can still get at it a little bit. And I'm going to hit the space bar again, and I'm getting rid of this. Remember, I'm going to cut some of that off on the bottom and right here. So that's not bad. Okay, maybe here, and a little bit there, somewhere here. Okay, and let's touch up just a couple of little places. I'm going to see this when it gets smaller anyway, but here we have it. Now, let's go back to the photo bin and get the background that I'd like to put behind. So I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to bring, well, first of all, let me see what I want to do with this. First of all, I want it obviously in black and white. So I'm going to enhance. I'm going to convert to black and white. And this is the before, this is the after. But now I have some choices as to how much light I want in here. Here's a newspaper effect. Here's portraits effect, which is probably better, or scenic landscapes. I'm partial right now to probably urban snapshots right here. And so I'm just going to say, okay. And now this is the background that I'm going to work with the child. And now that I've got it exactly where I want to, I'm just going to do a Control J and lock that. Now I'm going back to the baby here, and I'm pulling it over and putting the baby on the top. And I can start to move her around right here. Move her around and even make her larger. So if I want to, I can just make this a bit larger. That's good. And now I'm going to move her down right to there, right to about there. Move this over to there. Okay. Now that I've got that exactly where I want, I can now determine what size of a crop I want. So let's go to the crop tool, pick an 8 by 10. All right, 10 by 8 here. Remember what happens is that we go to 8 by 10, 10 by 8. In this case, we want a 10 by 8. So we're just going to move this down a little bit, just there, and that will make an exact 8 by 10 photo right there. Okay, so you can see where this background is. Now remember, we can still work independently of the layer or the baby. So let's say, okay, this is what I like here. Now, do I want to do anything with the layer in the back? This is layer 1. All right, I just shut this off, shut the baby off. She's gone. And now, if I want to, I can go to quick and I can do an exposure. And do I want to do anything with the exposure? Do I want to make it lighter? Or do I want to do this with the exposure slider? And actually, I like it the way it was, right there. This is what we did. So let's go back to expert. And now you can see that there's a little white here. That's because when I went to do the 8 by 10, somehow or other it left that down in here. So I'm just going to go back to the crop tool and just do it over again. But this time I'm going to get that little bit of white out of there, right there, and say okay. And there we have it. And that's the end of this. Obviously a heck of a lot better than when we started. End of lesson.